Moving right along, Group 5, Approaches for Building and Developing Faculty Capacity.
Okay, just checking, how do I advance the slide? Okay, this thing? Okay, got it. Hi, I'm Kate Fu. I am an assistant professor at Georgia Tech in mechanical engineering and industrial design. And I was on the affinity group for building faculty capacity. So this is the team that I represent here. We had some great discussions. I'm not going to read all of the names, if that's okay. All right, so we wanted to have a little bit of an objective slide just to kind of set the context in case you don't have those objectives in your head or on the sheet of paper in front of you. Our objectives were developing strategies for capacity building among faculty to build confidence and skills for initiating or facilitating conversations about ethical thinking, addressing engineering faculty's pedagogical needs for teaching ethics, and addressing the difficulty of teaching ethical thinking with a lack of clear sort of right or wrong answers, or where the answer is not necessarily supported or clear from a professional code of ethics. So what key factors did we come up with that need to be dealt with in terms of overcoming this challenge? I think you'll see a common theme across all of the affinity groups, but I think we saw yesterday as well this sort of grassroots idea, and we divided that into kind of intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation, where I'm sure you hopefully are all aware what those terms are, but developing passion within individuals and also tapping into those individuals who have that personal passion for engineering ethics, but also talking about extrinsic motivation if we are talking about future employers for our students, or we're talking about the RPT process, whatever that extrinsic motivation is. Some folks are better motivated by extrinsic, some by intrinsic. Faculty confidence is another issue that needs to be thought through. There are a number of faculty who maybe don't feel comfortable teaching engineering ethics, and so how do we, even if they're passionate about it, they may still not feel comfortable about it. And so how do we build that confidence to be able to address these types of topics in the classroom? Scaffolding, and that sort of goes with rubrics / assessment materials at the same time. So faculty who are interested in integrating this or incorporating it into their classrooms may not have the bandwidth to develop their own course materials or own assessment techniques. And so that may be a challenge as well as a potential opportunity for us to address and maybe ease the integration by potentially providing some of these resources. Of course, workload, faculty bandwidth is always an issue. Resistance to change. We divided it into faculty issues and sort of administrative level or program level issues. Resistance to change at the administrative level, also on the ground among faculty, of course. Resistance to non-technical aspects of education, so that issue came up, and I think there's maybe implicit language in there that engineering ethics is non-technical, which we've had debates about that here at this meeting itself. So space in the curriculum, and then lack of resources as well. So we came up with a few different strategies. We were kind of in brainstorming mode and decided to list all of them here while highlighting 3. So the 3 that I'll talk through right now are, the first is creating a virtual online community of practice. So this would help us connect across institutions, get support, get resources, get insights, even feedback, community within the group that's in this room, as well as those who are not here with us. This could allow us to connect faculty across the country and across the world, and hopefully add efficiency to the development of curriculum, help us think through things that we're missing, and allow us to maybe accelerate the integration and the development of these materials. The second one was engaging local industry. So this could look like a few different things. It could be through the partnering with people like professors of practice who actually practice engineering and are also teaching at our institutions, and engaging with them to be some of the vehicles, because students maybe feel like they're a little bit more connected to the world that they will be entering if they leave academia, once they go get jobs in industry. The benefit of this would be potentially funding research through connection with local industry, not necessarily the professors of practice route, but also connecting with actual corporations or firms, local companies that may actually fund research or faculty stipends or even prizes for well-done ethics integration into projects or coursework or student deliverables. So there are ways that we could potentially have sort of a financial incentive or prize-based, accolade-based incentive that's driven by industry to get people to want to engage with this topic. And then finally, kind of pushing the boundaries of what some things that maybe aren't already being done or are being done more sparsely than some of the things that are towards the top of our list was the idea of ethics fellows. So recently, at Georgia Tech, where I work, we have a program that was launched for diversity fellows, where there was a call for diversity fellows. You get a small stipend, and you apply, and you're selected. Thanks, and you get basically it's a way to tap into the people that are around campus that are already passionate about this, give them an opportunity to get some recognition as well as connect with each other, and sort of maybe a mechanism to tap into that grassroots effort that we're talking about. Okay, next question was, what can the community of attendees do to help with this challenge? I think some of these are pretty obvious. Leave with action items, hold each other accountable on our action items. One idea, I was at the FOEE at the end of last year, and one of the things that came out of that was maybe having a reunion at a conference that many of us attend and checking in on the progress of some of the action items that come out either of the affinity groups or of your individual projects. And also just reconnecting, continuing to build this network and keep it strong. So connecting back up and maybe having a reunion or working session at ASEE or other similar conference that many of us will be at. And then I think one of the lowest hanging fruit in our mind was to create a database where, and maybe you already are planning to do this, where everything that was presented here is available. So I know we got some of the things on Dropbox, but if we could kind of centralize everything, and including these presentations and all of the panelist talks, I think that would be really useful for everybody. And then finally, what can the broader engineering community do? So the main one I'll highlight here is potentially doing a type of need finding. So doing a survey that not only talks to people who have been through our programs at the undergraduate or graduate level, but also folks who are hiring those people, and trying to understand what is the status quo of how do people perceive their own understanding of ethical thinking, and how do our industry partners or people who are hiring our students feel that we're doing, what's missing, what needs to be done better. So just to summarize, as somebody who studies design, I'm really into the idea of need finding, designing a solution that's really based on what it is that we're actually missing, what do we need, rather than assuming what we need and going from there. Connecting, so the other piece was connecting to each other for sharing resources and best practices. That might be the online community, it might be the virtual interinstitutional community, it might be the repository of resources. And then, of course, empowering our champions. So that's everybody here, but it's also people at our institutions that maybe have haven't been recognized yet or don't know that they're passionate about it until they're given the opportunity. So that's all I have. Thank you.
I just noticed a couple of your key suggestions were the online community of practice idea for faculty to support each other. And then the very next one was engage local industry. And then you had this last about the idea of a database and maybe even a reunion of the folks at this workshop. And the thought that came to my mind was just kind of combining all of those things. It's not one or the other, but if there could be some type of online place where everybody, this group of people would be the starting point, and you happen to have a couple of us from industry in there, but the idea would be it wouldn't just be for faculty to share ideas, but you invite industry also, people who, like me, who happen to be passionate about ethics and how engineers think and changing the mind, all these things that we're talking about today. Don't keep the scope narrowly focused on faculty, but give industry the opportunity so that there can be the interaction back and forth. Not only industry can help you figure out how to do these things better, but you can help industry also figure out what our role is in shaping the conversation after the students get out of school.
That's great feedback. Thank you. Anyone else?
So sort of the starting assumption seems to be that it's the engineering faculty who need to build capacity.
Oh,
but,
sorry. Yeah.
I don't know if that's your fault, but there's maybe philosophy professors tasked to teach engineering ethics, or writing faculty tasked to teach professional and technical communication. They may need to build capacity too for engaging with engineering in a productive way. So I wonder if anybody has thoughts about that, something to kind of think about.
Yeah, so that's definitely, we of course know that engineering professors are not the only ones teaching ethics. Sorry if that came across as an assumption. I think what we were trying to do was think beyond what's currently happening. So we know that we have folks who are coming into individual courses and doing a lecture or two. We know we have standalone courses across different institutions. And so we're trying to kind of push the boundary of what else can we do? How can we be even more innovative and out of the box? So I apologize if I omitted that kind of perspective.